I'm Joshua Bardwell, and I'm going to learn something today because this is Taq FPV, and this is Risky Biscuits FPV, and these guys have brought 7 inches for me to play with.
2 of them.
I couldn't resist. We're going to be flying 7-inch long range and freestyle, and that'll be a first for me. So let's see how that goes.
I'm Risky Biscuits.
Tell me about your quad.
So this is a 7-inch crush frame made by Ryan Harrell of Mini Quad Test Bench. Glacier 1800 milliamp 45C. So flight controller is a DYS F4 Pro V2, and the VTX is an AKK, the 800 milliwatt, the little stackable kind of thing. And other than that, I have a Hellgate buzzer and a Eagle 2 micro camera. And I used to have a GPS, but it's somewhere in the field. Decided to freestyle it and then lost it.
GPS can't help you if you lose your GPS.
No, not at all.
What are you flying
I've
here,
got
Taq?
the Falcon Multirotors 7-inch.
Raggio Lungo.
Because I can't pronounce it. These are the Hyperlight 2207 1922 KV.
1922. So you're running
They're a little high for a 6S.
Yeah.
But I've just been too lazy and haven't changed them out. So I don't get as long a flight time as Risky Biscuits does on his. Yes. KISS V2 flight controller with KISS 32 amp ESCs running 6S. It's a tramp running 600 milliwatts.
How far you go on that?
I've flown maybe close to 2 miles, I'm going to say.
Crossfire, I assume?
Yes. Running the micro receiver. I'm running the HQ 7 by 3.5 by 3 V1S.
I got the same ones. I play around with some bi-blades because the flight times are a little longer, but I haven't really found a tune yet. This thing's really difficult to tune, and on high throttle it's just going crazy. So I use these because they're way smoother. I mean, I lose like 2-3 minutes flight time, but they're really fun to freestyle too.
Taq, why did you choose to fly 7-inch? And you got 5-inch quads, 6-inch quads. What made you want to build a 7-inch quad?
Well, I flew my first long range flight with my 5-inch quad. And then I wanted to get into long range, so I did some research, and everybody was flying 7-inch for long range for efficiency, and so I ordered everything it took to build one.
So 7-inch props, bigger props are more efficient. What about you?
Same exact reason, efficiency. So, you know, there are people that are flying a bunch of 6-inch props, and they're like, oh, they're fantastic. But I want something that goes a little further as far as time. So that's why I did a 1800 milliamp battery and a 7-inch prop, because I just wanted to go as long as possible.
How long of a flight time do you guys get, typically?
I get about 8 minutes.
8 minutes?
Mm-hmm.
And that's cruising, or is that more aggressive flying?
That's pretty aggressive.
Yeah, like freestyle-ish?
Freestyle-ish.
Okay.
I mean, I like to hurry up and get to where I'm going and do my thing and hurry up and get back.
There was one time I was like, I'm going to test out my long range quad. So I tested it out. It was great. And then I had Justin come for the next day, and I was like, let's go across the river and come back. Well, I went across the river and never done it before. Turned back around, had no idea where I was. And I tried to come back across the river, and slowly my video is just fading away.
So you're not coming towards home.
Yeah. So if I was thinking, I was like, we'll just turn back around to where I came. No, I kept trying to find home, and it's in the river now.
Oh, God.
I think
you lost it.
Oh, yeah, it's gone.
If you are lost and you're trying to figure out which way is home and you start flying and video's getting weaker, stop, turn around, go back the direction you were coming, and just sort of circle and try and figure it out. How long's your flight time?
I have a switch.
So about 7-8 minutes. Just
about the same.
Just playing around. I've gotten 14 minutes. So.
You got an 1800 6S. You fly with
a 1500
6S. You're getting about the same flight time. You have lower KV motors.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're at 1650 kV. He's closer to 1900.
My 8 minutes is taking it easy, cruising,
Okay.
seeing how long of a flight time you can get. Usually it's not that long.
Do you fly? So you cruise on long range for efficiency. What are you giving up? Why don't we all just fly 7-inch and it's the best? We get 8-minute flight times and it's all good. What are you giving up when you go to 7-inch compared to like 5-inch?
The biggest thing that I've found so far is the 2. They're difficult to tune.
Yeah.
3.5's okay.
What kind of tuning difficulties do you run into?
A lot of oscillations, mid-throttle oscillations and high-end oscillations.
Right. So you're spinning a bigger, heavier prop at lower RPM. And it's interesting if you think back to when, 3-4 years ago, before mini quads became a thing, everybody was flying like 9-inch props were very common. And you had to go to a ton of effort to balance them because you're swinging so much mass that any little imbalance throws it off and makes a ton of vibration.
Right.
When we all went down to 5-inch props, there's so much less mass and they're spinning at a higher RPM. It's a lot easier to just balance sort of doesn't become an issue quite as much. So now we're back in that realm.
When I put fresh props on, it flies really well. No jello in the video, but if I had the slightest little nick on this prop, it just destroys the video. Where on a 5-inch, your props you can have one missing nearly, and
Yeah.
you won't have as much jello as this will cause.
Yeah, and also the longer arms, they have more resonance, more wobbliness. They're less stiff, I guess, and you get more issues there, I suppose.
I would say like an open field flyer would love a 7-inch. It's
Okay.
smooth, it's like flying on rails.
Yeah.
But
Now, how about
it's not my style.
how about responsiveness in terms of, because when we go all the way down to like a 3-inch, they're super loose and nimble, and they just maybe too much for some people. I imagine that as you get into these bigger props, that goes the other direction. It's sort of how does it fly differently compared to like a 5-inch?
Yeah, it goes down, but I'm honestly surprised on how well and how snappy it does actually fly. Especially because, when I got this with the intention of I'm only going to long range it, right?
Yeah.
And then I broke on my 5-inch quads. It's like, well, I got a 7-inch. Let's freestyle that. And it was way better than I ever could imagine. I actually really enjoyed it.
Taq's going to fly some longer range stuff. You guys out there who really do long range are going to laugh at what we consider long range, but we don't have a great environment to go super long distances. So we're going to do longer range stuff than I would do with 2.4 gig. Are you just going for it?
Well,
I wish I could see your RSSI or anything.
Where's the fun of it?
This is Crossfire, though, so we should really be just we shouldn't have an issue doing this.
yeah, video is going to be the.
Now, my video looks pretty good on the rapid fire. How's your video looking?
Something's breaking.
It's starting to get a little low.
He's also on left-handed, so
Oh, geez.
so
Oh, well, then it's amazing.
yeah.
This is amazing, considering I'm on right-handed. Get up here and do a little hitting this tree line. How do you, one of the things I noticed when I did a little bit of longer distance stuff was it's easy to kind of lose track of where the obstacles are and sort of accidentally fly behind or something that's blocking. Like how do you just sort of keep track of where it's safe to fly?
You just have to remember that.
Yeah.
Situational awareness.
Now I noticed when you flew out, you didn't like look back or check or anything. You just went for it.
Well, okay, I have done this before.
You've flown here before, so you have some idea.
I have flown this ridge, and I know where your house is.
Yeah.
If this was the first time, I would have flown about halfway, turned around, spotted where I'm going to head back home to.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Do a little circle, sort of 180, looking back towards the house so that people can see. Where's my house, guys? If you were flying this for the first time, where would you fly to get home? Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, exactly.
Somewhere out that way.
I live here.
I would
It's
head
still
that
a little
way.
sketchy.
Well, I mean, we've had to track roads before.
Yeah.
We've gotten lost, even with flying 5-inch quads long range.
This time of year is horrible.
With the trees, yeah.
Talk about ghost branches.
Yeah, like for
You got
example,
one to the
if you
left.
keep
That's a
going this
field.
direction, you're going to go over the top of the ridge, and you're eventually going to start blocking your own signal.
Correct.
And you'll need to pop up to get. Wow, that is a nice view. It's a nice view.
Do a nice yaw around there.
Yeah, buddy. You can see the highway from here. Yep. And the higher you get, the wind will take you, drag you a mile away.
But your video gets more clear.
Your video is
Yeah.
clearer as you pop up. I think you're moving down the ridge though. You're getting further
He
away.
is, yeah.
See, I think, yeah, that.
Come back this way.
Yep, I think
That's
so.
where my spotters come in handy.
I guess with that 8-minute battery life, you don't have to worry too much about. Well, I guess I'm flying 6 minutes. I'll come home.
Well, flip your switch.
505 milliamp hour.
Oh, okay. So you're not flying totally raw.
Totally, yeah. Not totally.
That's gorgeous, man.
Okay.
It looks pretty smooth. We'll see how the high def footage looks. Are those brand new props?
Yep.
Looks pretty smooth.
Should be
I don't
pretty
see
good.
any oscillation or anything.
It flies well with this battery. I've tried a heavier 2200 milliamp, and it would need the tune change for that.
And you're mostly just doing smooth
Just a little
cruising. You're not really
left.
pushing.
Just a little.
You're not really pushing. Yeah, that street right there is the. Yeah, you're heading straight back to the place. You got it. You got it out. There's my house. You're not really pushing the tune any. You're sort of flying smooth and slow.
That's how I fly my 7-inch.
Yeah. Want to do a little freestyle?
I never went above half throttle that whole time.
Well, that helps with the longer flights. Watch the power lines.
I got it.
All right. Not everybody knows they're there.
So yeah, I mean,
This is a really fun style of flying. Being able to just kind of explore the environment, you know, from a new perspective.
Yeah, like in Chattanooga, we have some mountains. I mean, they're not really like Colorado mountains, you know, but we have some nice ridges with some valleys, and we'll go up there and we'll just spend the time flying, and it's just so much fun just to cruise around, and it's really scenic and cinematic, you know.
Are you spotting him from the goggles as well? I saw you just warn him about the tree to the left.
Yeah, I'm telling about that. A few times I'll take goggles on and off to look where his head is at.
Yeah.
To make sure he's pointing the right direction.
Yeah.
Because
I tend to fly with my head pointing at the ground.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it can be helpful to have a spotter because when you're flying, you're not always seeing everything on screen. You're not always mentally aware of it. Having a spotter just watching the goggles can be nice.
Well, and I think some of your best flights come when you almost lose track of everything and you're just in the moment.
You lose yourself in the moment. You own it. You never let it go.
Not really.
A lot of people are going to be surprised to hear that you can go 1.5 miles, 2 miles on a little 600 milliwatt, 800 milliwatt, 5 gigahertz VTX. What would you say to people who aren't getting that kind of range?
I don't know what everybody else is doing, but one thing that helped me a lot was the antenna placement for this guy. So I did have a little stubby antenna that came out the back, and the battery was completely covering it. So whenever I turned back around toward myself to fly back, the battery was totally blocking the antenna, and then I could still see, but it wasn't that great. So I got a long antenna that comes up over the battery, and that helped tremendously personally.
What about your receiver module in your goggles? What do you run in your goggles?
I'm running a LaForge V2.
Wow.
Yeah.
Old school. What do you got there?
Furious
True.
Furious FPV.
And you're not using a particularly high gain antenna or anything.
Mm-mm. No.
And you don't use a ground station either.
Mm-mm.
Do you ever have an issue where you move your head?
Well,
and you drop out?
When we fly, we spot each other. So we'll have typically two people. So one person will be spotting line of sight, the other person will be watching in the goggles, and that way we can kind of orient our antennas properly to make sure we're going in the right direction.
We use the buddy system.
Guy comes up behind you, grabs your head.
Yeah.
Like
I'll come up to Taq and touch him. I'll be like, okay, just keep on turning. And stuff right there.
So I guess the takeaway would be that if somebody is trying to go 1 mile or 2 miles out, they don't need like 1.3 gigahertz. They just need to set up their 5 gig correctly with good antennas, and if it's not working, then something broke.
Yeah, that's the big thing about long range is you have to have good equipment. I mean, you can get away with just like bashing your stuff around with the 5-inch and just fly it, and it's like, it'll be fine. But you have to have clean components really for this kind of stuff.
I mean, he charged it.
You shouldn't be able to smell the battery.
No, you can't smell it. You can't smell it.
No, it's okay. I don't smell fruit. Here we go. I love this camera. Let me just get used to your rates here for a minute and your throttle curve. Your throttle is no, I know, just where your hover point is and stuff. Little bobble there. Interesting. Let's do that again. Okay.
This is actually
Big pitch back. Now I'm going to talk about the tune here.
This is a
which
stock.
Yeah, you haven't tuned it, and it's KISS, but it's tuned for the defaults for KISS are surely for 5-inch. So we got a big pitch back here. Watch. Oh, that wasn't too bad. There, your prop flaps out.
Sing to me, baby.
Yeah, that ain't too bad. Got a
completely
little bit
stopped
of instability when I punch. It's sort of, but it's not the end of the world. It's not too bad. If I'm easy on the throttle and don't abuse it, it'll be okay. It flies nice. KISS always feels real nice. It's got great control. I don't feel like it's slippery or slidey at all. Like when I flew that big X class, it was just all over the place. It's got great control. I'm not trying any. I'm just staying in the field here until I get a little bit of a feel for it. It's got a lot of pickup.
Yeah, I think the motors are too much.
Yeah, these are the 1900 kV.
Yeah.
At least for a true long range, they're a little peppy.
Great pickup. it's struggling a little bit with prop wash, as you would expect on these giant props. They're just not going to be as responsive, but if I baby it a little, it can. No, it's struggling. The speed is awesome. It's got a lot of pickup. I don't yet feel confident enough with your rates to try and shoot any little tighter gaps. I don't want to ruin your quad, but
For the sake of the video, man, have at it. Yeah. Dive that shit. There you go.
So now we may have messed up a prop. Let's see. Wow, I can't believe.
Seems okay.
It feels great.
Well, it'll probably show up in the video,
but the it just doesn't feel like it corners quite as sharply as I want it to be able to do the more precise stuff. Maybe it's just your rates. I just need to give it more stick though.
Some of those.
Oh, nice stop there.
Some of those moves look like what they would on a 5-inch.
Mm-hmm. No, like I was saying, they fly a lot better than I was anticipating.
I agree.
Because, I mean, you think, oh, 7 inches.
You know what it is? This flies better than my 6-inch on 4S.
Mm-hmm.
It's got to be the 6S is just doing a better job with the props. How's the battery? I need to bring it in, Taq?
I'll check for you.
1,183.
Well, it's a 1500. You can make another couple passes.
Get to about 1,600
And
milliamps.
then think about it.
And then go to the ridge quick.
You can make a ridge pass right quick. Good guy.
Let's go under here.
Yes, please.
Power loop.
Oh, that was great. That was better
You
than
would want to tune it, right?
It needs a little tuning. I do agree. Prop wash oscillation is probably going to be impossible to get out. Maybe for like full prop wash oscillation is never going to be perfect. I guess. But overall, and it might be your rates I'm not used to. It just felt like it didn't quite corner as
I don't have
sharply.
I have low rates.
I didn't feel as confident going into tighter gaps with the cornering. But the snappiness on some of the moves was great, and the pickup where you hit the throttle and 6 inch has always been good at it comes on really low in the throttle band. So you got a lot of grunt. You can arrest a fall really aggressively, but what it doesn't have is get up and go acceleration, and that did. It really. I didn't feel.
And grunt.
I didn't. Yeah, it had. That's exactly right. When
Had
you come
grunt and get up and go.
down from a drop and you punch the throttle at the last minute, boom,
It'll
it stops
catch
short.
itself, yeah.
But then when you whoop, it goes. Whoop.
Yeah.
Now you had the 1900 kV motors on. You got the 1650, but let's try yours anyway. Because you fly freestyle more on yours. Let's see how it flies.
Okay.
Look at these awesome skins they got. I didn't know that this existed. This is a vinyl skin. It's not a hydro dip. That's so cool. We got to put a link to where we can get these. It's probably a pain in the ass to put on neatly, but you don't have to take your radio apart like you do with a hydro dip. So that's interesting. I'm lower in the throttle. Although you have lower kV motors, it still feels like I am hovering pretty low, maybe even lower than his. Maybe yours is lighter.
It is lighter.
The props are flattening out.
Yeah.
Your rates feel a little, I really am amazed at the speed. It does not feel like I'm flying a 6-inch or a 7-inch. When you hit the throttle, it just goes until the prop comes out. It just goes.
It's
I'm
just singing to you.
astounded.
Singing to you.
Singing
It's
to you.
fast, but just like coming in, maybe it's the throttle. I'm not sure if it's the throttle or the rates, but coming into a thing like this, I just don't feel as confident.
It's probably just the rates.
Or just the quad. Something. I'm really impressed. It flies really nice.
Thank you.
It flies really nice. Now, how is the tuning? Now, this is
a very basic Beta Flight 3.52.
so 352. Nose holds pretty good. There's a little bobble there. Nose holds pretty good though. Going to full throttle. I babied that just a little. I just didn't peg it right to full throttle. But the nose is holding pretty good. Yeah, that was a full throttle punch and chop. That's really not bad. Let's try some sharper turns for prop wash. That's not any worse than a typical 5-inch might be on default pits. I am astounded.
Yeah,
Okay.
they're different to fly than a 5-inch, but they have power, and I just love the 6S on it.
So you're not gonna like put his in a tree or try the fence?
You got to try to hit that gas again.
or anything with his
I'll do
one?
that at the end of the
Yeah,
pack.
yeah, hit that gas.
I'll do it at the end of the pack.
Testing it out.
I'm just teasing you.
Love it.
Oh!
I'm honestly amazed. Like, I flew 6-inch 4S and thought, I could see why somebody would like this. It's got its ups and its downs. But in terms of flight, this is amazingly similar to a 5-inch. In terms of punch, pickup, speed, it seems like the rates are just a little slower, and the tuning is actually not even, at least on new props. I guess the biggest downside would be that I feel like it's going to be a lot more sensitive to like a bent prop. I feel like the maintenance, it's going to be slightly more likely to break when you crash just because it's bigger. And if it flies, I mean, it doesn't fly just like a 5-inch. It almost feels like it accelerates more. Yeah.
Now, is that the 7-inch prop or the 6-inch battery?
A little of both, I think.
Yeah.
I'm sure that a 4S 7-inch prop would not accelerate like that. No way.
Right.
So we're at 6S 1650 kV. That's roughly equivalent to 4S 2500 kV. But if you run 2500 kV 4S like a 2207 motor on a 7-inch prop, it will not pick up like that. No way.
Yeah.
It won't have the torque. So it's something going on there. I guess then the question is, if the best you could say about it was, yeah, it flies, almost flies pretty much like a 5-inch, then why wouldn't you just fly a 5-inch? What do you think the answer to that question is?
Because I can fly at long range.
That's what I thought you were going to say.
Yeah.
Because you can choose to fly long range out to the rig and fly for the ridge and fly for 8 minutes, or you can just crank the throttle and do a little flippy floppy stuff. That probably speaks to the tune. You know, I said that the Betaflight one was just about pretty good, whereas the KISS one I was picking at a little more. But it's worth saying, you know, these are totally different quads, totally different motors. The fact that this is higher KV is going to change the torque response and affect the tune. So, not saying Betaflight is better than KISS. Please stay out of please, commenters. That's not what we're saying.
I disagree.
Thank you guys. We're gonna fly some more, obviously. Thank you guys for letting me do that. That was a real eye opener. I would say if somebody is feeling interested in trying longer range stuff like 6-inch or 7-inch, or is just kind of bored with 5-inch and wants to try something different, and you're thinking about going to 6-inch or 7-inch, definitely go to 6S.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Because I've flown 4S ones and it always feels like I'm giving up a ton. You get a little, you give up a lot. It's a different thing. This, it doesn't feel like I'm giving up much in terms of flight performance. So it's kind of just a win. These guys' YouTube's down in the video description. Thank you guys so much for bringing your rigs out and letting me crash them.
Yeah, thank you.
Let's
Appreciate
just do it.
Happy flying, everybody.
So you burn down your engine compartment.
Well, I was telling them I don't have homeowners insurance, but I have car insurance. So I store all my lipos in my car. I ain't lying.
Water just wouldn't put it out.
I'm trying to shoot B-roll here.